Allahumma yassir wa la tu'assir. All right, let's continue in the Book of Marriage, level 2. We are still in the section of nafaqah, support. Question for you. This is our third week on this topic here. So, question for you. There are 3 reasons that make support obligatory. 3 reasons for support to be obligatory. What are they? Tell me all 3 in one answer, please. Can you tell me all 3 in one answer? 5, 4.
I don't remember the third. Kinship and marriage and kids. I mean, under puberty. I mean,
That's going to be kinship.
is that right? Okay, what was the third one?
Okay. Haja helped you out. She gave you 2 of 3. 3. So she said kinship and marriage. There's one more reason why support would be obligatory. 2. 1. Ownership. Yes, mastery. Ownership.
Yes.
Okay. So we covered kinship. That's going to be your obligation to support your prepubescent poor children or your pubescent handicapped children who don't have their own money and your poorer parents. And included in that, as you know, is the obligation of supporting the grandparents and the great-grandparents and the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren. If those, when we talk about supporting the grandparents, that's if their own children are not supporting them. Your grandchildren, that's if their own parents are not supporting them. So we covered that part. And we covered the obligation of the slave master and the owner of animals, animal owner, the slave master and the animal owner, animal master. He's obligated to support those whom he owns amongst humans and animals. And now we're on the third one, matrimony, which is marriage. And that is the husband's obligation of supporting his wife, not the other way around.
Sorry, you say.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Now, the marriage, now she had children already.
Yeah.
Are you obligated to take care of children
No,
too?
Their own father's obligated to take care of them.
So the other part of the question was, if the children father's not around, or he died, he died. So what was it obligated then?
No, it's not going to be on the wife's husband.
Oh. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's continue from where we left off. Let me just back up a little bit so I can flow into where we stopped. I'm going to start here, where the author says, the explainer that is, says, وَيَجِبُ عَلَى الزَّوْجِ تَمْلِيكُ زَوْجَتِهِ طَعَامٍ. It's obligatory on the husband to give his wife ownership of the food. Habban, as seeds, in the form of seeds. Not that he feeds her the seeds, not that he provides her merely with the grains. Rather, he makes her own the grains. These grains are the origin of whatever he's going to make from them. So that's going to be hers. Whatever he makes is going to be hers because he's going to make her own the grains they came from. وَعَلَيْهِ طَحْنُهُ وَخَبْزُهُ. He makes her own the grains or the seeds, and it's on him to pulverize it and bake it. And that's just an example. Pulverizing and baking is only an example. Whatever he makes from that is what he makes. He might make bread from there. He might make porridge from there or something else. Porridge like oatmeal, cream of wheat, that type of thing I mean when I say porridge. I was saying mush. I think porridge might be a better word. And not just the food he makes her own, also the clothing he makes her own, the clothing he's obligated to provide for her. As opposed to anyone else he's obligated to support. Anyone else he's obligated to support, he's not obligated to make them own anything. So if he is supporting any child or grandchild, any parent or grandparent, whatever he gives them is his, not theirs, unless he makes them have it. For the wife, he has to make her own it. He's going to fulfill his obligation by putting it in her ownership, except unless they eat together like families normally eat together. If they eat together like families normally eat together, then he will fulfill his obligation of feeding his wife even without making her own the food. And if she accepts this, then she cannot ask for the food that he otherwise would owe her on top of whatever he fed her. Yani, let me repeat. He's obligated to make her own the food that he's obligated to provide for her. But not in the case where they eat together like families normally eat together, which means, they just made dinner, put food on the table, they sat and they ate and went on about their day or their business, their life, etc. And in the course of all of that, he never said, this is for you to have, this is yours, this food. So if she wants only exactly what he's obligated to give her, then she should turn that down. Yani, that normal meal, that normal family meal. If she wants what the religion specified for her to get, then she would say to him, no, I don't want to sit and eat with you like families normally do. I would rather that you give me exactly what the religion stipulated for me and make me own it. Then that's his obligation. But if she accepts to eat with him like families usually eat, then she cannot, after that, also ask for the standard amount that the religion made obligatory originally. I think that's clear. Is there any question here? So, two differences between the support of the wife, the spousal support, and the support of anyone else. Two differences between the spousal support and anyone else's support. One, the wife is due a measured amount that follows his monetary status. No one else is due a measured amount. Anyone else is enough just to fulfill their needs. Give them food so they won't be hungry. Give them clothes so they won't be nude. That's one difference. And two, he's obligated to make his wife own what he provides for her, except in the case I told you. Whereas anyone else, he's not obligated to make them own anything that he provides for them. And for the wife, when we talk about his making her own what he provides for her, that's not including the lodging. The lodging is not included in what he's obligated to make her own. So it's going to be the food and the clothing that he's obligated to make her own. Except for what I told you, except the exception I told you. The explainer says, وَيَجِبُ لَهَا آلَةُ أَكْلٍ وَشُرْبٍ وَطَبْخٍ. And obligatory for her is the utensil of eating and drinking and cooking. So spoons, forks, knives, yani, or a spoon, a fork, a knife, yani, a pot, a pan, for example, whether made of clay or made of metal, iron, or something else. ويجب لها مسكن يليق بها مسكن يليق بها عادة. And obligatory for her is a lodging that is befitting of her normally. Normally regards the custom of the people. So, and maybe in some societies, the people live in apartments. You know, when I was overseas, when I went to Lebanon, I never saw a house, like just a house that one person owns. I never saw a single one person. Maybe, I think when we went to the village, I think the Sheikh in the village that we went to, that was his house. But in the city, I never saw a single house. Everyone lives in apartments, as far as I can see. So maybe the norm of those people is that they live in apartments. Maybe the norm of the people that they live in houses. Maybe they live in huts or shacks of yani, some degree or another. What's normal? No, not in USA. In Beirut. I never saw a house. You know what I mean when I say house? I mean just a house that a family lives in, like maybe has 2 floors or 3 floors, for example, and just one family lives there. I never saw a single one. Everywhere is apartments, everywhere that I saw. But those are big apartments, though. Some of them. Yeah. Okay. So he has to give her a lodging that is befitting for her normally. So that means needs the commodities of a house. It needs a cooking area. It needs sleeping area. She needs a lavatory. Whatever is normal, that's what he provides for her. And as you know, in accordance with his monetary status, if he is wealthy, he gets her the lodging of the wealthy. If he is middle class, he gets her the lodging of the middle class. If he is poor, he gets her the lodging of the poor, as well as the food and the clothing, all according to his monetary status. وَإِنْ كَانَتْ مِمَّنْ يُخْدَمُ مِثْلُهَا فَعَلَيْهِ أَيْ الزَّوْجِ إِخْدَامُهَا. And if she were someone the likes of whom was served, yani, before he married her and she was still with her family, she had a servant, for example, or she had service, then it's obligatory on him to provide her with service. بحرة أو أمة له أو أمة مستأجرة أو بالإنفاق على من صحب الزوجة. How would he do that? And that, of course, that's if he can afford it. So if he can afford it, how would he provide her with this service? Either he would hire a free person like a maid, or he can get a slave woman, or maybe he already has a slave woman, so he assigns that slave woman to her service, for example. Or he rents a slave woman from someone else. Or he gets one of her friends and pays her friend to be her servant. Yani, so now her friend's gonna follow her, stay with her. A friend is just an example. It doesn't have to be a friend, but for example. من حرة أو أمة, يعني free or slave, لخدمة إن رضي الزوج بها. Yes. And if the husband accepts, yeah, he's the one who's doing the choosing anyway. And it's not enough for him to be her servant. If he says to her, I'll be your servant, this does not fulfill his obligation. And this goes back to a broader case, which is that it's obligatory on the man who is able to maintain his wife's living standard. To maintain his wife's living standard. How was she when he married her? Yani, before he married her, how was she living before he married her? What lifestyle did he take her away from for her to be his wife? If he's able, he must maintain that lifestyle for her. وَإِنْ أَعْسَرَ بِنَفَقَتِهَا. Now, here's what some of you sisters been waiting for. وَإِنْ أَعْسَرَ بِنَفَقَتِهَا. If he becomes unable to support her. أي المستقبلة, meaning for the future. He cannot support her into the future. فَلَهَا الصَّبْرُ عَلَى إِعْسَارِهِ. Then she has the option to be patient with his hard times. That's an option. وَتُنْفِقُ عَلَى نَفْسِهَا مِنْ مَالِهَا. And then, if she chooses to be patient with his hard times, she would support herself from her own money. أو تقترض. Or she would take a loan so that she can support herself. وَيَصِيرُ مَا أَنْفَقَتْهُ دَيْنًا عَلَيْهِ. And here's very important, very important. Remind all the brothers. What she spends on herself becomes a debt on him. That's why I say whenever a couple comes to me and she says to me, he doesn't support me. And then when I talk to him and I say to him, you need to support her. If you don't support her, then what she spends on herself to support herself becomes a debt on you. You're accruing debt every single day. Support her or release her so you can yani, not put this on yourself. That usually gets a gulp out of the brothers. You know, the gulp, like when you swallow, like, oh, that usually gets a gulp out of them. Because I think they're just thinking, oh, I'm not supporting her, and then that's it. Khalas. She's short. No, that's coming back on you. Then the last thing you want to do is have to pay that debt on Judgment Day. Pay it now. Or make a deal with her. Say to her, or she can say to him, rather, because a lot of times she wants him to let her go. Let her say to him, it's just an idea if you want. You owe me. I've been supporting myself. You owe me. But if you release me, I will forgive you of all the debt you owe me. Maybe this will encourage him. Yeah, because sometimes she needs to get out of that situation. And don't forget, though, if she does not grant him access to herself, then he's not obligated to support her. There's always two sides to every story, subhanAllah. One sister, she was telling me all of what she was telling me. And she's trying to get released from her marriage. So I told her, all right, I need to talk to him. She's like, oh, he's so clever though. He's so manipulative though. It's like she don't want me to talk to him. I have to get his side of the story. SubhanAllah. Then what turns out, although she's the one who raised up the issue, and she's trying to be released from the marriage. What it turns out that if he were to do for her everything he's supposed to do, she will not give him his right. She will not give him his right. She's already determined that she will not be just to him. Subhanallah. That part wasn't supposed to come out though. Alhamdulillah, I know how to pull the stuff out of the people. MashaAllah. طيب ولها فسخ النكاح. And in this case, where he is unable to support her, we said she has the option of being patient with his hard times, and she also has the option of breaching the marriage. فإذا فسخت حصلت المفارقة. Okay, but here the explainer doesn't say to us, how does she do that? How does she do that? Let me read for you from FatH Al-Wahhab. So it's not going to be my own words. FatH Al-Wahhab is an advanced book in Shafi'i school. Let me read to you what he has here. So the author of FatH Al-Wahhab says, وَلَهَا خُرُوجٌ فِيهَا لِتَحْصِيلِ نَفَقَةٍ. The woman is allowed to go out of the house during the day when her husband is not providing for her. So that she can acquire what she needs to support herself. By working. Or even begging. Maybe she needs to go out and beg, and her husband doesn't support her. وَلَيْسَ لَهُ مَنْعُهَا مِنْ ذَلِكَ. And this husband who is not supporting his wife does not have the right to stop her from going out of the house to work or beg. لِانْتِفَاءِ الْإِنْفَاقِ الْمُقَابِلِ لِحَبْسِهَا. Due to the lack of support. The support which is his leverage to be able to keep her in the house. His supporting her is the leverage to be able to detain her in the house. So when that support was lacking, he lost his leverage to be able to detain her in the house. Now she can go out even if he doesn't want her to, so that she can work or beg. وَعَلَيْهَا رُجُوعٌ إِلَى مَسْكَنِهَا لَيْلًا. And it's obligatory on her to go back home at nighttime. لِأَنَّهُ وَقْتُ الدَّعَةِ. Because nighttime is quitting time. Yeah, it's the time to stop working. وَلَيْسَ لَهَا مَنْعُهُ مِنَ التَّمَتُّعِ. And she still does not have the right to stop him from enjoying her. ثُمَّ بَعْدَ الْإِمْهَابِ. Okay, so wait, I started in the middle of something. Let me back up. The author says here, the author of FatH Al-Wahhab, that Sheikh Zakaria Al-Ansari, rahimahullah, he says, وَلَا فَسْخَ قَبْلَ ثُبُوتِ إِعْسَارِهِ. there is no breach of the marriage before the confirmation of his hard times, meaning before the confirmation of his poverty. This sister that I was just telling you about, she's trying to get out of the marriage. She's saying he doesn't support me. Okay. But we need to be able to confirm whether he is poor or not. This is what I know. This is what I took. What I'm reading to you is what I know. I'm going to go according to what I learned. So I told her we have to talk to him first. We cannot just go by your word. She told me she went to some imam, paid this imam $3,000 for khula, and he drew up a paper for her stating that she's out of the marriage solely based on her word. He never even talked to the husband. He only took her word for it and then did that. Sounds like someone's cheating the Muslims out of their money. But that is something people will do sometimes. A sister or a brother, but let me say, a sister will have a sad story about her husband. Hey, this is what he does, this is what he does, this is what he doesn't do, this is what he doesn't do. And maybe you believe her. So then you're like, oh man, this guy. Never forget, you must always hear the other side of the story. So, وَلَا فَسْخَ قَبْلَ ثُبُوتِ إِعْسَارِهِ. There is no breach before confirming his poverty. بِإِقْرَارِهِ أَوْ بِبَيِّنَةٍ. Either by his confession that he is poor or by evidence. عِنْدَ قَاضٍ. And this needs to be raised up to a judge. فَلَا بُدَّ مِنَ الرَّفْعِ إِلَيْهِ. Yani, this is unavoidable. Raising the case up to the Muslim judge. فَيُمْهِلُهُ وَلَوْ بِدُونِ طَلَبِهِ ثَلَاثَةَ أَيَّامٍ. Yani, she raises her case to the Muslim judge. If there is no Muslim judge, she can appoint an acting judge. Like, you know how when we do marriage, sometimes they do a muhakkam, that's an acting judge. Here also, if there is not a Muslim judge, she can appoint an acting judge. فَيُمْهِلُهُ. Then this judge will defer the man, the husband. وَلَوْ بِدُونِ طَلَبِهِ. Even without the husband requesting that. Even without the husband saying, wait, give me some time. The judge will give him some time. ثَلَاثَةَ أَيَّامٍ. 3 days. لِيَتَحَقَّقَ إِعْسَارُهُ. For extra verification of his poverty. وهي مدة قريبة يتوقع فيها القدرة بقرض أو غيره. 3 days is a duration not too long. And it is a duration in which it's expected that a person can get something, a loan or something else. So after those 3 days, he still can't support her? Then the marriage can be broken. But let's look at these 3 days. That's where I started with. Now we're in the 3 days, the grace period. وَلَهَا خُرُوجٌ فِيهَا. She is allowed to go out during these days لِتَحْصِيلِ نَفَقَةٍ. So that she can acquire what she needs. مثلا بِكَسْبٍ أو سُؤَالٍ. By working, for example, or by begging. وَلَيْسَ لَهُ مَنْعُهَا مِنْ ذَلِكَ. And he does not have the right to stop her from that. لِانْتِفَاءِ الْإِنْفَاقِ الْمُقَابِلِ لِحَبْسِهَا. Due to his losing his leverage, which is the fact that he's not supporting her. His lack of supporting her is his loss of leverage that would enable him to detain her in his house. وَعَلَيْهَا رُجُوعٌ إِلَى مَسْكَنِهَا لَيْلًا. And she is obligated to go back home at nighttime. لِأَنَّهُ وَقْتُ الدَّعَةِ. Because that's quitting time. Yani, time to stop working or stop begging. Go home now. وَلَيْسَ لَهَا مَنْعُهُ مِنَ التَّمَتُّعِ, and she still does not have the right to withhold enjoyment from him. ثُمَّ بَعْدَ الْإِمْهَالِ, then, after the grace period, يَفْسَخُ الْقَاضِي, the judge will break the marriage. Oh, هِيَ بِإِذْنِهِ, or she will break the marriage by the judge's permission, meaning the judge can say to her, okay, his 3 days are up. If you want to pronounce a breach of the marriage, then you may pronounce it. So then he leaves it to her. Sabihat al-Rabi', that's going to be on the morning of the 4th day. He's going to complete the 3 days. On the morning of the 4th day, the judge will breach her marriage for her or forward the permission to her to do it herself with her own tongue. نعم إن لم يكن في الناحية قاض ولا محكم. Yes, if there were not in the area any judge nor an acting judge. There's neither a judge nor an acting judge. ففي الوسيط, in this case has a documentation about its rule in the book called Al-Wasit. لا خلاف في استقلالها بالفسخ. There is no difference in opinion about her being able to unilaterally, independently breach the marriage. That's if there were no judge nor an acting judge. فإن سلم نفقته فلا فسخ. But if he manages to submit his support during the grace period, then there is no breach of the marriage. Then he has more talk there. Let me get back to the book we're reading, and then you can ask me if you want some questions. So, what we are reading says, if he becomes unable to support her for the future, then she can be patient with his poverty and then spend on herself from her own money or take a loan. And then whatever she spends becomes a debt on him. Or her other option is to breach the marriage. So now you know how that goes. And this book we're reading doesn't have those details. So we just supplemented from another book. وَإِذَا فَسَخَتْ حَصَلَتِ الْمُفَارَقَةِ. If she does breach the marriage, then separation takes place. وَهِيَ فُرْقَةُ فَسْخٍ لَا فُرْقَةُ طَلَاقٍ. This will be a breach that's not a divorce. It's a non-divorce breach. Because you know very well by now, the marriage can be breached by a number of ways. Here's one. This breach that takes place due to lack of spousal support. But notice something in all of what we read here. The case is that the husband is poor. Nothing that we read right now, not in this book or the other book, from what we read, says, or if he has money. So what if he has money? So all that I know, may Allah grant me more knowledge. If he has money and he doesn't support her, she takes him to the judge, and the judge will make him support her. Not that the judge will break the marriage. If he has money, the judge doesn't say, okay, I'm going to give you 3 days to support your wife. If he has money, the judge is going to say, you're going to support your wife now. This sister that I've been telling you about in this lesson here, she told me her husband doesn't support her. So I said to her, does he have money? She said, yes. Right there means I don't know what to do. If she said, no, he doesn't have money, then I will know how to proceed. So I asked her, does he have money? Because I know there's difference in the judgment. She said, yes. So now it's not possible to give him the 3-day ultimatum. Support her or your marriage will be breached. That's for the one who doesn't have money. The 3 days is so he can come up with some money. The one who has money, this is not the same option. Rather, he will be forced to support his wife. And breaching his marriage is not the option here. So when I said to that sister, so if he starts supporting you, then you will comply? She said, never. So khalas means, she's willing to be unjust then. Doesn't matter. The only thing that's going to work here is what she wants to happen. Nothing else will work. So I wasn't able to help her. The explainer says, وَأَمَّا النَّفَقَةُ الْمَاضِيَةُ فَلَا فَسْخَ لِلزَّوْجَةِ بِسَبَبِهَا. As for past support, the wife does not have the right to breach the marriage because of past support. That's why we said here, a few lines up, if he became unable to support her in the future, then either she can be patient with his poverty or she can breach the marriage contract through the proper procedures. Why are we saying the future? To exclude the past, meaning what if he didn't support her in the past? Can she have the marriage broken for support, lack of support in the past? No, not for the past. Also, I think we're going to go over time just a little bit here, but I want to finish this chapter. It's just about done. We're right at the end of it. Didn't we say right here, if she has to spend her own money to support herself, then whatever she spends on herself becomes a debt on her husband? He's going to have to pay her back? Yes. Did we say that about the children? No, it did not. Or anyone else? No. Just the wife only. So, what does that mean? That means not supporting the child does not make a debt occur, does not accumulate debt, but not supporting the wife does make a debt accumulate. To not support one's child, that's a major sin, but does not accumulate a debt. To not support the wife, that's a major sin, but it does accumulate a debt. What's the difference? Do you know the difference? I'll tell you the difference since we're just about out of time. The difference is that the wife is the only dependent that he's obligated to make her own what he provides for her. The wife is the only dependent that he's obligated to make her own what he provides for her. When he provides her with food, when he provides her with clothing, he's obligated to make her own that. As opposed to anyone else you support, you're not obligated to make them own what you provide for them. So if you provide for your children, if you provide for your parents, if you provide for anyone other than a wife, it's not obligatory on you to make them own anything. That means if they eat your food, that's your food and it's not theirs. They're swallowing your food, not theirs. If you gave them clothing, then it's your clothing they're wearing, not theirs. Even if it's baby clothes, still your clothing. Even if it's women's clothing, still your clothing. You own it. Unless you give it to them. You're not obligated to make anyone other than a wife own what you provide for them. This is what makes the difference. So when you don't provide for your wife, a debt is going to accumulate on you because you were supposed to be making her own stuff during the time. Whereas for your children, for example, yes, you're obligated to support them, but no, you're not obligated to make them own anything. So no debt was accumulating. So that means, according to our just and fair religious rules, back child support is injustice. Not to mention how they do it. Because they're gonna base the child support on how much you make. Not how much the child needs, but how much you make. That's injustice. So if you're a millionaire and you got a little baby, they might make you pay what? Thousands of dollars a month for a child that maybe needs $100 a month, for example, or $200 a month. And they're going to make it build up as debt. And they're going to garnish your wages, make it come right out your paycheck, everything. Those people are so unjust. Whenever I think about their many injustices, really enrages me all the time. I'm walking around enraged all day. Yeah, one sister, she told the brother, I'm going to take you to the court. So then he started being nice to her. Started being nice to her, kissing up to her, everything. Subhanallah. Like, oh no, wait, hold on. No, come on now. You ain't got to do that. Subhanallah. So you cannot take a man to court for child support, or a woman cannot take anyone to court for child support, not a mother nor a father. Cannot take a woman to court for spousal support. She's not obligated to support her husband. Okay. So he says,
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes.
Sheikh, I just wanted to know, right, what if a woman who hasn't got these problems, but she's still married, how much her husband is supposed to support her? Like, is it just 2 meals a day, a roof on her head, 2 sets of clothes, one for summer, one for winter, and a blanket?
Here's the support, and it depends on his monetary status, whether he's wealthy, middle class, or poor. He's obligated to provide her with food on a daily basis. He's obligated to provide her with 2 outfits per year, and he's obligated to provide her with lodging. And he's obligated to provide her with some items that go along with this, such as a mat to sleep on, a sheet for the summertime, a blanket for the wintertime, a pillow, some utensils for cooking and for cleaning, and like this. And the quality of all these things go back to his monetary status. So if he's poor, he's going to get her a mattress of poor people. If he's rich, he's going to get her a mattress of rich people. If he's middle class, he gets her a mattress of middle class people, like this.
What if the wife's not working and like his family comes over, her family comes over? What's she supposed to do if she hasn't got extra money or extra food to feed them?
Well, if his family comes over, then whoever is obligated to provide for them will provide for them. Or the host, for example, if it's his family, why he's not feeding his own family? And if it's her family, why she's not feeding her family?
Where's she supposed to get the money from if he's just providing just the means for her?
So then she will say to her family, you can't come over here because I don't have any food for you.
Do really people say that these days? No.
What's she going to do? Because this is your question. What you going to do? That's your question. What you going to do if I don't have food? I'm going to say to somebody, someone say, can I come live with you? I might say, I cannot support you.
Right. Anyway, Sheikh, I'm back from the blessed journey. I made loads of du'as for you.
Thank you. Barakallahu fikum. Alhamdulillah. Taqabbal Allahu ta'atiki. Ameen.
Thank you. Okay.
Question. If she doesn't have a servant, but she lives fancy with her family, i.e., in a big 7-bedroom house, and he can only afford such as a 2-bedroom apartment for them, is he religiously falling short in maintaining her lifestyle? Not if that's all he can afford. When you say he can only afford that much, means he is unable to do more. So the inability, we said the rule is he has to maintain her lifestyle if he's able to. Question, does someone obligated to provide for excessive demand of one's wife, for example, a shopaholic wife? No. No, he can say to her, all I'm obligated to do for you is to provide you with this food on a daily basis and 2 outfits per year and the lodging with the lodging that I do provide for you and these miscellaneous items here, and I'm not obligated to do more for you. You can say that in the sweetest way possible. Question, if he doesn't allow her to work and she's receiving government support because he's not supporting her, does he still owe her? Well, if he doesn't support her, he can't stop her from going out to work. That's what we said. If he doesn't support her, he can't stop her from going out to work or beg even. It means she has the right to go out and work or beg in this case because he doesn't support her. So in your question, you're saying he doesn't allow her to work, but he doesn't support her. No, he doesn't support her. He can't stop her from going out to work or beg. You can follow up if you want to. Yes.
Is government support considered begging?
No, but that's something else, Yanni. I didn't address the government support in her question or in the person. I don't know who's asking. I didn't address the government support in the person's question. I'll repeat the question and my answer. The question says, if he doesn't allow her to work and she's receiving government support because he's not supporting her, does he still owe her? So I really dodged a lot of this question here because the question is dodging something that I already established, which is that he cannot stop her from going out to work if he's not supporting her. So the question is supposing he doesn't support her and he doesn't let her go out to work. So what's the case here? Well, he can't stop her from going out to work when he doesn't support her. And now someone just followed up. This will upset him having her leave the home. Well, so what? Yani, yeah, the religion is easy. And the things they will only become difficult, yani, they usually become difficult when we make them difficult. So let's look at the rule and let's see how easy it is. He is not supporting her. That's the scenario. What's the judgment? Then he lost his leverage this is what I said many times. He lost his leverage to be able to keep her in the house. When he is not supporting her, he lost his leverage to be able to detain her in the house. So that question was just avoiding that whole thing right there. Now, then the person followed up, said, but it will upset him. Even if it does, he still lost his leverage. His leverage is gone. He wants to keep her in the house, then let him support her. He wants to demand that she stays in the house. Then what he has to do, you tell me, the one who's asking. If he wants to demand of her to stay in the house, what he needs to do, tell me. He should support her. Okay. So she says to me, what? If I leave the house, it's going to get upset with me. I'm going to say, well, you're going to make your own situation hard now. You want to ask me a question you already have the answer to. Go out and work or go out and beg. Your options are there already. You have your options. Now you're asking me, what should I do? Since I'm not going to go out and work and I'm not going to go out and beg, what should I do? I will say, stop making it hard on yourself and take by the rules that are there. Now, this question also has something in it. It says, does he still owe her? He's going to owe her for whatever she spends on herself. He's going to owe her for whatever she spends on herself. Question. So if he could afford her previous lifestyle, if he only had one wife, but he can't because he has four, it's a situation that he is safe, i.e., not sinful, like the one who originally couldn't afford. He can't afford it. He can't afford it. He cannot afford that lifestyle because he has, his money's already tied up.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Yeah, back to that question. If one has to, whatever she spent on herself becomes a debt and you have to pay that back, what if those what she bought are excessive? That's why I asked that question.
What if what?
Whatever she bought that the husband have to pay
No,
that.
not like that.
Okay.
Just what was his obligation, Yanni?
Oh, just the obligation. So,
Yeah. What he
okay.
was obligated to provide her, and she didn't, and she had to spend it on herself, then he has to pay her that.
So the husband can say, this is only what I can afford. Whatever else you bought is your own.
No,
Something.
not this is what I can afford. This is what I'm obligated.
But yes, what I'm obligated. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Barakallahu fiqh.
Amin Wafiq. You said, should she not receive government support in this case? If she's poor, she can take the government support. Okay, let me finish reading these last few lines here. So it said, as for the past support, there is no breach for the wife for that reason. وكذلك للزوجة فسخ النكاح إن أعسر زوجها بالصداق قبل الدخول بها. Also, the wife can breach the marriage if the husband became poor and unable to pay her dowry, a dowry that is due, a due dowry. He's unable to pay the due dowry, and they have not yet consummated the marriage. Then she can breach this marriage. سواء علمت يساره قبل العقد أم لا. Whether she knew about his wealth before they got married or did not know about his wealth before they got married, Yani, she married him. She agreed to a dowry that's due, and they have not consummated the marriage. If he becomes unable to pay that dowry and they never consummate it and the dowry is due, not deferred, then she can breach the marriage. So, a lot of times, I think more often than not, the dowry is, in so many times, is like, in they agreed for it to be paid in installments when it's a big dowry. Maybe he's going to pay her so much now, so much later. So not this kind of dowry. When all the dowry is due, not some of it's due now, some of it's due later, or all of it's due later. All of the dowry is due, not deferred, and they have not consummated the marriage. And then he became unable, then she can breach the marriage. So I'll leave you with one last thing here, which is that when a woman gets married, if she wants to have some leverage in the beginning, then two things. One, make the entire dowry due now. And 2, do not have intercourse without the dowry being handed over. Then she will have more control over her situation in the beginning here, because she's going to be allowed to withhold enjoyment when the dowry is due and it hasn't been paid yet. So she can refrain and say to him, not until you give me my dowry. This is permissible. And then if he doesn't give her dowry, she can refrain. If he becomes unable to give her dowry, she can break the marriage if they did not consummate. If they consummated, then khalas, none of that's an option. Or if the dowry is due in installments, for example, or delayed until later, then none of that is an option. Wallahu alam. We'll stop there. We have one section left in the book of marriage, which is hadana, custody. So tune in next week for that, inshallah ta'ala. Question: if they agree to a maintenance fee, does this cover his obligation? For example, he says he'll pay her $200 per month, although her support may be more than that. Then, if she agrees to that, then she cannot breach the marriage. Or any of those other things. Can she ask for more? Okay. They can make an agreement. They can make an agreement. They don't have to stick to that. Let's say, according to your question, it's $200 a month. They went for a few months. 200 is not enough. So she needs him to pay more. So she has a conversation with him. She says, "This is not sufficient for me. I need you to do more." So, okay, if they agree, then fine. If he doesn't agree, he can say, no, I just want to do whatever the religion said I have to do, for example. Or she could say, we've been doing this maintenance fee for a while. We did it at 200, then we agreed to something else. Now I just want you to do whatever the religion said you have to do, for example. Wallahu alam. Any question? Any other question? Is there a typical maintenance fee in the US? And this type of thing, when you say maintenance fee, this is just something they're going to agree to. Typical? I don't think so. I can't say there is. Typical maintenance fee. Yeah, usually they're going to do what works for them. Either their case is going to be he supports her fully like he should originally. She lives in his house. She doesn't have to work, for example, and he supports her. Or maybe she works, or maybe she does things to make money, but she doesn't have to because he supports her. Or something else. They might, for example, agree he's going to pay the mortgage every month. Maybe that's all she wants from him. She said, just pay the mortgage. I don't need anything else from you, for example. So whatever they agree to. But at any time, they can always resort to the exact religious rule. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. He asked, what is the average maintenance fee? True maintenance fee. They're just going to be doing whatever they agree to. That's what I'm saying to you. This right now is the very first time I even heard the term maintenance fee. I didn't hear this word before. Here, like this. Maintenance fee. So they're going to just do whatever they agree on. Whatever works for them. They're going to do whatever works for them. Each couple has their own details, their own situation. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.